Hello, welcome back. This is our Go From Scratch series. Today we're going to look at one of the most important things in any programming language, variables. Okay, so let's create a new file called variables.go. And in here, we'll take a look at the different ways that we can declare a variable. So first of all, we still need to go through all the main setup. So we'll just say package main import. We'll import the format package so that we can use that to print out stuff, because that's going to be useful so we can see what's going on with the variables. And then we'll do our func main function here. So this is our main function. And now let's take a look at the ways we can declare some variables. So the main sort of way that we do it is to give it the full, so first of all, var, letting Go know that we're declaring a variable here. And then here, we give it the name. This is the name of the variable, which we're calling name. And then we give it the type. So var name, which is a string. And a string, if you haven't done any programming before, a string is just a series of characters. So this is a string. The whole thing sort of like wrapped in here is the string. In this case, we're getting a name, so let's just I'll just give it my name here. So here we're saying this variable here, name, the type is a string, and then this is the value of it. Now, one important thing here is we need this equal sign, and the equals is an assignment. So it's not saying in mathematics you've got like 2 equals 2, but in this case what we're saying is for this variable here, assign this value to that. So a variable, at the end of the day, a variable is kind of just like a box. It's a container where you put stuff in. And in Go, you need to tell it what type of content is going to be in there. So here we're saying the name variable is a box, and what we're keeping in there are strings. So they're going to be strings of characters. And in this case, we're telling it exactly what it is. So let's have another one. So we can also in Go, we can declare them this way as well. So we can say, let's just say country equals Australia. So here it's very similar, right? We've still got the var part, we've still got the name part, and we're still giving it a string. So we're still telling it what should be in there, but here we're missing out the type. So we're not telling it that this is a string. And that's because in Go can actually work it out. So as we're defining it here, we're declaring it and setting the variable at the same time. It can work it out. Okay, this here is a string, therefore this type here must be a string. So let's so also you probably saw here the error handling kind of kicked in, and it made these all dark here, so you can kind of see it now. When you're writing Go programs, every variable that you declare, every variable that you declare, you must actually use. So if we tried to compile it now, it would complain and say like, hey, you've created these variables, but you're not actually using them. So to make sure that we're doing that, let's just do a print. Let's just do a print line for each of these variables. So name, and then we'll do the same for country. Okay, so we can save this now. And let's do go run variables.go. Cannot find the file specified. Is that what I called it? Variables. Okay, just making an edit here. It turns out when I created the variables .go file in the first place. I named it wrong. So the second time I tried to run it, I did spell it correctly and it couldn't find it. So the problem is I didn't name the file correctly in the first place. So yeah, that's what happened there. Okay, I must have, did I spell that wrong? Okay, anyway, it's found it now, and here it's printed out those two variables there. So that's two different ways that we can declare variables in Go. There is another way as well. So we can also declare variables by doing it this way. So what's another thing that I can add here? I guess occupation. Okay, so what do we have here? This way of declaring variables here is kind of similar to this one, right? So we don't have a type. We're just giving it the variable name, but we're missing out this var statement here, so we don't need to tell it that. And what we're using instead is this colon equals symbol here. So what this does is it declares the variable and assigns it at the same time when it's the first time that we're declaring that variable. So here, var country, once that's been defined, you can set that, you can change it. Whereas here, this is the first time that we've set this variable. So we can use the colon equals, and again, we don't need to give it the type here. Go can work that out. So again, you saw it was going dark because we haven't used it. So if I go format, print line, occupation, that should solve that issue. And now if we run it, there we go. Now we're getting all three here. Now, let me just show you what happens if we don't use it, because that's a little thing in Go to be, oops, forgot how to comment out. So // will comment out that line, and that means Go won't run that part of the program. So you can see it's gone dark here again. We've got an error, but let's just try and compile it anyway. So if we try and run it now, we see here in this variables file, declared and not used occupation. So we say that there's this occupation variable here, but we don't actually use it, and Go won't let you do that. So for these variables that you create, you must use them. In other languages, they don't care. A lot of other languages don't care. In Python, you can create all these variables. If you never use them, that's totally fine. But here, Go won't even compile if that's the case. So let's bring that back. Now, another thing that we should probably look at is once you've used this colon equals, you can't use it again for the same variable. So if I have occupation here and I try to set it again and say architect, this is not going to let me do it. Here again, we've got the error that's coming up. Let's try to run it, and here we say no new variables on the left side of the colon equals. So the first time that we do it, that's totally fine. But once we do it again, if we want to change what's in this variable, then we just use the simple equals for assignment. So here we can change that to architect. That's totally fine, but we can't use that colon equals again. So if I save that and then let's run it again. So here we can see it's software engineer first, and then that variable does get updated to architect, but we need to do it this way with the equals assignment. So there is also one other thing that we should go through, and that is the constant variable. So a constant is a special kind of variable, and the idea with constants is that they don't change. So here we can have, I guess, what's what's something that would never change? If we have const and then I guess place of birth, you can't change that. Place of birth. So here we can set that as let's just set it as Australia. So here we're using the same kind of syntax as this one here, and that means that we don't need to give it the type. It can work it out here with the one that's being passed in. So let's just run that to start off with. So place of birth, and I'll run that again. Okay, so here we have place of birth Australia. This is the last one. Now let's see what happens if we try to change that. So remember, a constant is a variable that shouldn't change. So here I'll try to change it to England, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so the system cannot find that's the previous one, sorry. There we go, that's the right one. So cannot assign to place of birth, neither addressable nor map index expression. So this constant here is not allowed to be updated once we've set it already. There are a bunch of different types as well. So here we've just used string, but there are many different types. There are integers for numbers. There are booleans for true and false. Many different variables. This is just a kind of introduction into how do you declare these variables here. So var, the name of the variable, and then the type. I would recommend taking a look at the Go documentation and seeing what other kinds of variables there are. We'll go into some of the main ones, and you'll see them as we use them. But some of the ones that we'll look in depth will be things like arrays and slices. And that's where things get kind of interesting. That's where you've got you have a variable that might be made up of a bunch of different variables, and yeah, we'll look into some more advanced ones in some future episodes. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please subscribe if you're enjoying these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.